All right, hello and welcome back to Pit Stop Insider TV. Tonight we're back with All Star Sim Racing and their New England 130 from New Hampshire Motor Speedway. Currently, Mike Montesi sits on pole, followed by Jimmy North in the number 84, just a half a tenth back. Tonight it'll just be myself, Andrew Cardinelli, up in the booth. Also be working the cameras, and yeah, should be a great show. These guys are just getting into the swing of things here in their chase. The current point standings look a bit like this. Chris R. Jennings is locked into the next round, I do believe. He got the win last week at Chicagoland Speedway. Behind him in the number one, that's Jeremy Bazemore. He is, let's see here. Sorry, there, Dan Lees is a bit odd. He is 2 points back, just 2 points back. Behind him, Jimmy North and Mike A. Perry are tied, 4 points back of the leader. 4 more points behind, 8 points back of the leader is Kurt Rittenberg. Then we've got David Dolliver at 9 points back, Matthew Cox at 12 back, Jeremy Rittenberg at 14 back, Doug McCollum 15 back, Scott Brotherton 17 back. James McKee, who will be one of our in-race reporters tonight, is 20 points back, and Jeff Gilmore, who unfortunately couldn't make last week's Chicagoland race and won't be here tonight either, is 44 points back. So it's already looking kind of unfortunate for him, but we'll see, if he can overcome that setback and work his way back into contention. Anyways, getting on with things, we're going to go ahead and see if we can't bring up one of our in-race reporters while these guys finish up qualifying. And that in-race reporter is Jimmy McKee. Jimmy McKee, do you have a copy? Jimmy McKee, do you have a copy?
I got you now, yeah.
All right, well, maybe not the qualifying effort you were maybe looking for. You're back there in 11th, but still by no means a lousy effort. You're currently in the chase. How are you going to tackle tonight? It's a tough track, very loose, very hot racing surface. We're looking at about 110 degrees down there on the track surface. How are you going to try and tackle tonight to try and just maintain and maybe even get a win and get yourself into the next part of the chase?
I'm just going to take tonight very carefully. Obviously, last week got taken out, so that wasn't a very good start. So I'm going to be very patient tonight. Just kind of track. I'm not very good at the flat tracks, so just going to be patient tonight and see what I can get or salvage at least.
All right, well, you're in the number 5 truck here with, it looks like, Champion Motorsports. What can you tell me about the team and your teammate Jimmy North?
Just a couple weeks ago, me and Jimmy just got together. We also have Mike Perry with us. So we've just kind of started up this team, see what we can do together, and kind of help each other out. I know in our B cars, Jimmy helped me out a lot this past Tuesday, getting a setup that was worth something, and he and I both finished second and third. So I hope this chemistry can keep building, and then we get rolling through a few more races, we can really start cooking.
All right, well, the best of luck to you as you continue your battle for the chase and moving on to the next part of the chase, or the next round. We'll be looking to see how you do, talk to you throughout the race, see how the track and the trucks maybe change, and overall, just good luck to you and Champion Motorsports tonight.
Hey, I appreciate it, guys. Thank you guys for broadcasting.
No problem. Definitely enjoy doing it. You have a good race. And once again, that was Jimmy McKee. He'll be in the number 5 tonight. He's qualified, it looks like, about 13th, about 4/10 off pole. But honestly, tonight, with how hot it is, I think it's going to be, a matter of managing your tires. So I'm not sure that's really going to matter a whole lot. Next up, we actually have David Cook. David Cook, you're sitting on pole tonight. Do you have a copy?
Copy.
Hey, well, we saw you last week at Chicago. Really put on a show until maybe some unfortunate events set you back for a little bit, but you got right back up there, and you're showing even more strength tonight by going out there and putting the truck on pole by just over half a tenth. How's everything feeling, and how are you going to try and tackle this race tonight and be the winner at the end of 130?
Yeah, I did some more testing throughout the week because speed wasn't really where I wanted it in the race last week. So just kind of messed around with brake bias and steering ratios and stuff like that. And I think I've got it right where I want it to be. So we're just going to take it nice and easy first half of the race, see how things go, and then hopefully we'll be there for the end.
All right, well, it looks like maybe you came into the series late, just like we did actually as broadcasters over at PSI TV. But do you plan to be around next season, and if so, do you think you're a formidable threat for the championship?
Yeah, I already got myself signed up for next season today. And if we can keep this speed going, we'll definitely try to get the championship next year. There's a lot of tough competitors, but we'll have to see how it goes.
All right, well, that's some great confidence, honestly. We'll look to see how you do tonight in that number 49. Otherwise, good luck to you. Hope to see you put on another show this week, especially battling against guys like Jeremy Bazemore and Mike Montesi that are right on your tail for the start. Once again, just good luck, and hope to talk to you later.
Thanks a lot. We'll talk to you guys later.
And once again, that was David Cook Jr. in the number 49 tonight. So yeah, I mean, I think the general consensus is these guys are just looking to tackle this thing one step at a time. The race is rolling over. Again, this is on iRacing, so just keep that in mind. This is internet racing, basically. It's pretty much what it stands for. So if you see maybe cars blinking, or what we call flashing, or switch that around, but if you see cars kind of coming in and out, that's pretty much just the internet side of things. Connections can't always be controlled. Sometimes maybe there's a bit of a poor connection, but nonetheless, we should have this race starting in just a moment. Alright, so as drivers come into the race, they're going to hit that green grid button at the top of their screens, get ready for the event. We've got 130 laps for you tonight on this 1.06 mile circuit. It's a bit like Martinsville but on steroids, so it's basically a paperclip but bigger. The track is very flat, only about 9 to 13 degrees of banking. These guys will be running with a 75% fuel load tonight. Not a full tank of gas like NASCAR guys normally run, but it's still, I believe, 14 gallons. Those 14 gallons could be good for about 60 laps on average. That's kind of a guessing number, but we'll be looking to that as reference. Looks like maybe this is a one-stop race. And aside from that, it's looking like, as we mentioned, almost 110 degrees on the track surface. That means the ambient temperature around here is 78 degrees here in Loudon, New Hampshire. And the pit speed tonight will be 45 miles an hour. So we're going to go ahead and go on board with the pole sitter, David Cook. He's in the number 49 Chevy Silverado. And we'll see what he sees to an extent on this start as we come into turns 3 and 4. Pace cars away. Come to the restart box.
Green, green, green.
Green flags in the air. David Cook takes off. Jeremy Bazemore to his outside. The All-Star Sim Racing New Hampshire 130 is underway. Jeremy Bazemore hanging tough on the top side. He'll have the lead going down into turn 3 as the caution comes out already. Jeremy Bazemore did manage to catch that spot. Let's see what we can see here on that caution. Already a huge wreck on the back. We've got David Dahlabur with a bit of a problem. He's really having to steer that thing around here. We've also got Cody Spiker with significant damage. Let's see. Also, we've already got Jimmy McKee in it. He was our in-race reporter tonight, or one of our in-race reporters, so he's already looking at some adversity. Let's go ahead and take a look back at what happened there. See an immediate bottleneck on the start. That's not at all uncommon here at New Hampshire Motor Speedway. Very tight racing quarters. We'll see what happens here, maybe with the number 18, Joe Hudson, possibly. Starts behind him, actually. That was Kurt Rittenberg going for a ride. He got loose out of turn 2. Slid down to the inside, and we see that blinking that I was mentioning at the top of the show. That's just a matter of internet racing. But we're going to take another look back at that. Looks like Cody Spiker might have gone on his lid. Looks like maybe he got the worst of that wreck. As we'll take another look at the replay. Sorry, that was actually Jimmy McKee going on his lid. He went for one heck of a ride, which explains all the damage to that car. We'll see if we can't get an onboard with him coming to the start and trying to get out of turn 2 alive. Yeah, it looks like it actually wasn't the double O getting loose. Jimmy McKee was trying to get up out of the corner. Got on the gas maybe just a little bit too early for what the double O was doing. And made a little bit of contact. We'll see if we can't get another angle at that. By no means anything on Jimmy McKee's part that he did wrong. He was just trying to get up out of the corner just like everyone else. And they ran out of room there. And, no harm, no foul. It really didn't even hurt the double O that much. It was mostly the 19 of Cody Spiker and the TN Designs machine and Jimmy McKee and the Dollar General Toyota Tundra. But we should be getting ready for the restart here in just a moment. Go ahead and flip up to the number 1 truck. He is in the lead. Pace car lights are still on. Looks like we might be coming to 1 to go this time. Once again, Jeremy Bazemore, one of the drivers in the chase. The next 3 guys behind him, David Cook, Mike Montesi, Jimmy North, not in the chase battle. But we do see the 5th place driver who is. As pace car lights are off, that means we've got 1 to go until green. At number 10, Mike Payton, he is in the chase along with Chris Jennings to his outside for this restart as we come through the pace lap in 1 and 2. This time we'll get an onboard look from the number 7 in the X-Side Chevrolet. That's Mike Montesi. He started 3rd, still running 3rd. We'll see what he sees on the start, just like we saw with the number 49 last time. As the field makes the slow trek through turns 3 and 4 up to the restart box, they're off. That's Jeremy Bazemore getting the launch on the field. Looks like maybe a missed shift for the number 7. He's going to lose positions. He's down on the bottom on the inside of Joe Hudson as they go into the corner. Blake O'Connell up top, 3 wide through 1 and 2. Chris Jennings up top of the 3 wide. Joe Hudson trying to get a look through the middle. He's going to make it work. Put Joe Hudson up a few positions. He's going to now make a move on Jimmy North, who might have gotten into the wall out of turn 2. Joe Hudson already making a huge climb through the field here on lap 6 of 130. And I don't think anyone pitted that time. It wouldn't have made any sense to pit after 2 corners. So gas will be a bit of a concern as we move on to about lap 60, lap 70. We'll have to keep tabs on that. Already, though, Jeremy Bazemore looking to have a battle here with David Cook. David Cook to the inside for turns 3 and 4. David Cook's going to try and pull the slide job. Jeremy Bazemore trying to pull the crossover. It's not going to work, though. He got on the apron, got loose. That's one of the big things to keep in mind about tonight. It's going to be really hard to come back on somebody and make a pass, but if you can do it, you just might have the run down into the next corner and be able to clear them there. The other thing is slide jobs might be prevalent tonight. Even on a flat track like this, it's going to be an important way to pass. As we see the number 18, that's Joe Hudson in the wall. Mike Montesi forced to go real low into the corner. They're both going to slide up. Maybe Chris Jennings can take advantage. He will fall in behind the number 7, trying to get a look on the bottom, though. They're battling just ahead of teammates Matthew Miller and Blake O'Connell. Chris Jennings to the inside of the number 7 of Mike Montesi. Pulls a slider. Here comes Matthew Miller and the number 78. That was a pretty ballsy move there into turn 1, but he's going to try and make it stick. He's got the run on Mike Montesi down into turns 3 and 4. He's going to outbrake him into the corner. He's going to clear him, see if he can make a move on Chris Jennings. Is Blake O'Connell going to look? No, he will fall in line. So teammates Blake O'Connell and Matthew Miller are already making a big climb through the field here. It's only lap 10 of 130, but these guys are driving like it's for the win. As we see another caution, that time we saw pretty much the start of it. That was Mike Montesi. Switch over to his camera. We'll go back and see exactly what happened, see if we can't get a better look. Coming out of turn 2 here, the 7, he just got loose and fortunately didn't collect the number 67 of Blake O'Connell, but did collect the number 09 of Randy Roberts, and someone else hit him there at the end. We'll see. It was obviously unavoidable for the number 09, but we'll see if we can't get a look back at just how crazy that was and just how hard it was for him to miss that. Coming out of turn 2, Randy Roberts sees the 7 get loose, but all of a sudden he comes back up the track, and at that point it's just too late for him to miss him. Then it was Kurt Rittenberg that ended up getting into the 7 a little while later. Looks like that might hurt his front end. Let's see who we might be able to get a talk with. Looks like maybe we can talk to Jimmy McKee. We'll give David Cook some more time to battle up front before we drag him back up here. Let's see here. Jimmy McKee, this is Andrew up in the booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I got you.
Well, it's already looking to be maybe an unfortunate night for you, but I'll tell you what, as long as the truck is in too bad a health, you might be able to just maintain and look for points in a points night. It's going to be very important, honestly. It's probably the most important thing, but what happened there on that first caution, and do you think you'll be able to rebound?
I'm not sure what happened. I know I was, I don't know if I got too impatient. I thought I was okay, because all of a sudden I was under Kurt, and then I heard 3 wide, and then we were coming off the corner at that moment, and I don't know what happened, but there's a wreck. So I don't know. My truck's not bad. I mean, it was running up to speed better than I thought it was, or thought it would be. So we might be able to salvage something out of this now, I guess.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, from our point of view, it looked like maybe you were just trying to get up out of the corner just like everyone else. Maybe didn't get the message quick enough that you guys were 3 wide. And it wasn't anything you did wrong necessarily, just you guys both going for the same piece of the track. So keep your head up high. Looks like you shouldn't be too bad off overall. You know, it's not a totally aero-dependent track, so as long as the chassis is good, you should be fine. Aside from that, hopefully you can come back from it, salvage whatever you can out of it, try and keep up in the chase. Good luck to the rest of the night, and we'll be checking in later.
All right, I appreciate it, guys.
Once again, that's one of our 2 in-race reporters. That was Jimmy McKeon, the number 5. And like we said, he is in the battle for the championship, quite possibly, if he can manage to make a comeback from tonight. But up at the front of the field, we've got them doubling up. That's David Cook back to P1. Chris Jennings to his outside, then Kurt Rittenberg and Joe Hudson. And we'll get ready for the start. Right, now to turns 3 and 4. David Cook leads us down into the restart zone. And he's off. We're back from the green. Joe Hudson looking to make it 3 wide already. He's making moves. He's ready to get going. He's on the outside of Kurt Rittenberg down out of turn 1. He's going to clear that double O. Now he's going to see if he can't pull to the inside of the 88. He's going to wait just a second before he makes that move. Out of turn 2, though, he's looking to have the run down the back straightaway. Here in Loudon, New Hampshire, he's going to try and outbrake the 88 possibly. He does not. He's going to wait in line for now. It's a very smart move there. Jeremy Bazemore looking to the inside of Kurt Rittenberg. He's going to go on by. Now we've got Matthew Miller in a bit of a pickle. He's on the outside of the 30, right between the 67 and the double O on the top side. We'll see if he can't try and figure that spot out. He's going to continue to ride on the top side. It's going to get him a run down the straightaway, but I don't think it's going to be enough to combat the loss in the corner. Blake O'Connell makes the pass. And now we've got Louis Robinette and Blake O'Connell getting by him, along with Kurt Rittenberg. Mike Payton falls in behind the number 78 as Matt Miller tries to work on Kurt Rittenberg and Blake O'Connell. Back to the front of the field, though. It's still the number 49, David Cook, on point by a bit of a margin now. This is the first time we've seen anyone build up a lead, and it's good to see our in-race supporter getting a pretty big gap, really, over the number 88 of Chris Jennings. As these guys get a run underway, want to take a moment to thank all of our sponsors out there tonight for the first time. That, of course, is Oliver Mobile Fleet Repair for sponsoring both All-Star Sim Racing and us, along with Scott Brotherton Images. They're on board with us tonight. And as always, Pit Stop Insider, who we are very closely affiliated with, MTN Designs. As we see the 18 close up on the 88, trying to make a move. We'll see if, we've actually got a bit of a problem. We'll work out these technical difficulties real quick. While we work on this, we're going to take you to commercial break. Actually, here it comes. We're back. Was about to take you to commercial break, and it comes back. So we see the number 1 working underneath the 18 of Joe Hudson. He's trying to make a move there. That's Jeremy Bazemore. He's looking to try and gain some more points. Joe Hudson, very gentleman-like move there. Lets Jeremy go into turns 3 and 4. Now Louis Robinette and Blake O'Connell are battling. They're going to try and battle and get up to number 18 for another position. Caution on the speedway. I'm not completely sure what happened. Looks like maybe, yeah, someone got into the number 84 there. We'll watch this one brew from the left rear of that number 84. That's Jimmy North in the Lowe's Chevrolet Silverado. This is through turns 1 and 2. The accident's in turn 4. Try and get an idea of what happens here. Looks like Scott Brotherton was just trying to stick up to his back end and just got into him ever so slightly. Really nothing Scott could have done there. I think he was definitely working to try and stay off of the back of the 84 and just barely got into him. It's not even that much contact. But we'll take another look back at that, this time from the onboard of Scott Brotherton as we go into turns 3 and 4. Here's some shifting there, actually. So these guys are confident enough to be able to downshift in the corners, get some extra revs down the straightaways. And yeah, just barely into the 84. But immediately, you can tell, you know, it wasn't intentional because he got on the brakes so quickly. Immediately knew the 84 was going to go around and tried to prevent it, but at that point it was a little bit too late. So, we'll try and catch up maybe on their pit stops. As it looks like actually pit stops are either underway or about to begin. Yep, as the field comes down pit road, we will get a quick look from the pit lane camera. And as soon as David Cook's pit stop is complete and he exits the pit area, Joe Hudson's going to be first out. Once that 49 exits, we will go ahead and bring him up to the booth. Looks like maybe Chris Jennings could have possibly beat our pit reporter in David Cook out. Looks like he will, and maybe Blake O'Connell and Matthew Miller staying out. So that's a pretty gutsy move there. We'll go ahead and go on board with the number 49 and see if we can't get a talk with him. David Cook, this is Andrew up in the booth. You had a copy, bud. David Cook, do you have a copy? Alright, well I'm not sure if maybe we're having our own audio problem or if it's just on his end, but we'll let him continue on. Won't bother him any further. Maybe he's busy, maybe it's just one of our own connection problems, or audio problems rather. We'll try and get that straightened out as we're going to send you to a quick commercial while these guys get ready for the restart.
In this cauldron of fiery wills and burning competition, rivalries heat up quicker. This is an oval of stolen victories and crushed dreams, filled with volumes of unfinished business. Sooner or later, you all become rivals. With everyone fighting over one finish line, there's never enough glory to go around.
And as we come back for the restart here, one quick thank you to Little Man 0215. He was the producer of that commercial for the NMNTS Racing Series. As we come to the restart zone, it's Blake O'Connell in control. He gets the launch. over teammate Matthew Miller. Down under turn 1, looks like Mike Perry is going to try and make a move on the 78. We'll watch this battle brew as Joe Hudson's going to have the best tires and the best track position. Now Chris Jennings is going to take over that spot. He's going to look to the inside of Mike Payton down into turn 3. He'll back out of it, though. Doesn't want to create anything. Actually, he gets into him. Just a little bit of contact, and he saves it. Oh. He had it saved. He had it saved. And he just... Yeah, I mean, that's one of the problems here at New Hampshire. It's really hard to save a truck, and that's a lot of the field in that one. That is a huge portion of the field right there. I'll tell you what, that's going to be catastrophic for a lot of these guys, but we'll go ahead and take another look at that. See if we can't see it from Chris Jennings. So yeah, just gets into him a little bit. Nothing intentional by any means. Switch over to the 10. He's getting loose again, gets into the 49, then the 78. And then everybody trying to avoid him actually causes a wreck up ahead, and there's just nowhere to go. Absolutely nowhere to go. We're going to take an onboard view here with David Dolliver in the number 23. It was absolute chaos up ahead of him, so we'll see what he sees. It's going to be a lot of smoke and a lot of carnage. We know that. He actually got tight into turns 3 and 4. That may have saved him from getting too much damage, in all honesty. And yeah, it's just a junkyard up ahead of him. He's trying to slow down. He gets into Mike Montesi as they're trying to come to a complete stop and miss that wreck. That was insane carnage right there. We'll see if we can't get a view of what happens here for the number 18 of Mike Hudson. And this is a wider view here this time. He gets loose trying to avoid it. Gets into the 3. The 49 actually got turned and clobbered by the 84 as everyone piles in. You know, it's hard to stop that quickly. These trucks rather have good brakes, but they're not that good. I'll tell you that much. So we'll see if we can't get even another look here. This time from the left rear of the number 18 of Joe Hudson. See, he was trying to cut down the track and miss it, and then it's just on from there. He actually ended up in the end of the pit road wall. And yeah, it's just absolute carnage from there. That caution ends up being good news for Blake O'Connell, though. He'll maintain his lead. Chris Jennings will remain in P2. Behind him, looks like Jeremy Bazemore was able to get through that relatively cleanly in the number 1 Haas Chevrolet. After that's Louis Robinette in the number 30 Texaco Haviland Chevy Silverado. And then it's Mike Sunick.
All right, man.
In number 34, looks like they're going to extend the caution and try and get everything cleaned up, get everyone caught up to the field. Jimmy McKee also with a good amount of damage, but he already had some of that, so I don't know how much he got that time. Doug McCullum in 7th place. His truck isn't looking too bad. I believe he was involved. I mean, it looks like pretty 90% of the field or more was involved in that, so I think it'd be easier to list the guys who weren't, but as we go through the field here, Randy Roberts in the number 09 as well with some front-end damage. And I'm not sure of who's behind him. Looks like maybe the 04 of Matthew Cox. Number 10 of Mike Perry. The number 26, that's Jeremy Rittenberg. The number 18, we've been talking about him a lot. That's Joe Hudson. Followed by, looks like the 08, Mike Payton. The number 23, that's David Dolliver. Then the number 3, Scott Brotherton. And it's not very clear after that, but we're going to make sure we're up here watching the restart with Blake O'Connell, Chris Jennings, and Jeremy Bazemore. And really, these are the guys that we've been talking about the most, I think, since we came on the job for All-Star Sim Racing as the guys to beat week in, week out. You could throw Scott Brotherton in there in the mix, Mike Montesi even, but other than that, it's been these three. We've seen Jeremy Bazemore nearly win Richmond, Chris Jennings win Darlington and Chicago. I think in all three events, bad luck fell upon the number 67 of Blake O'Connell, but that's not to say he hasn't been running great. So we'll see if he can't pilot that number 67 T&M Design Chevy to a win tonight.
Green flag, green flag.
Green flag in the air. Blake O'Connell in the number 67 out to a sizable lead already over the number 1 and number 88. Looks like maybe the 30 overdrove turn 1, but no contact is made. They keep going. Chris Jennings is going to clear the number 1 down the back straight. And you see the mess of trucks in the back all battling. They've all got damage. They're going to be underpowered the rest of the night. But Chris Jennings on the tailgate of the number 67 of Blake O'Connell. Looks like he might have taken tires. Or even if not that time, he took tires the time before. So he's going to have a big advantage over Blake here as we go into turns 1 and 2. Blake O'Connell runs a little high. Jeremy Bazemore, Chris Jennings battling on his tailgate. Bazemore to the inside. He's going to get a little loose out of the corner, but he keeps it going, no problem. Down into turn 3, he's going to make the move. Chris Jennings lets him go. Can he clear for the slide job? No, he does not. He stays on the bottom. Now he's clear. He's going to get the traction up out of the corner. Might have tagged the wall there, but he's going to have a huge run on the number 67 of Blake O'Connell. And it looks like he may be able to clear him here in 1 and 2. You see Chris Jennings giving Bazemore a little help down the straightaway into turns 3 and 4. He's still trying to pass Blake O'Connell. Blake O'Connell running the extreme top side. He's going to try and defend from these guys, but it looks like Chris Jennings will go by with relative ease and put Chris Jennings into P2. Jeremy Bazemore on top. Jeremy Bazemore back in the lead, just like at Richmond International Raceway. It looks like he's got these short tracks figured out. But, I mean, he can't look now. That's Chris Jennings right on his tailgate. Gets a little loose out of turn 2. Keeps it going with relative ease. And, yeah, I mean, like we said, it's been the case in all 3 races we've done so far. These 3 have really been the stars of the show. Mike Montesi, Scott Brotherton as well. Even Jeff Gilmore back at Darlington. And, yeah, it's just kind of incredible. These 3 always on top, it seems like. Chris Jennings a little deep into the corner. He's going to lose a little bit of time out of the exit of turn 2. But he's still hanging tough with Jeremy Bazemore. And it'll be interesting to see what these guys do now for pit strategy if this should go green. Because they did pit a while ago. I think everyone's come down the pits at least once. So it'll be interesting if they can make it on 1 stopper, if they have to come in on 2, or stretch it just to get to 1. We'll see how that develops as the race goes on. But for now, Jeremy Bazemore on point, followed by Chris Jennings and Blake O'Connell. We'll take an onboard look here from the roof of the 67. He drives in a little bit deeper than Jeremy Bazemore, looking to try and get a fender underneath him. But Jeremy Bazemore is going to draw that gap back out down the back straightaway as he tries to catch Chris Jennings in the fend from Blake O'Connell. Blake O'Connell's only got one thing in his mind, and that's to try and get underneath the 1. He almost did it that time, but wasn't able to get quite there. We've got 91 laps to go, and these guys are still running really hard. Really exciting so far as we've had a few cautions, a couple of really big ones too. almost Talladega worthy. It looks like Jeremy Bazemore gets the wall there, but just kisses it, and that shouldn't be any big deal there, as we'll look on from above the right rear of the truck. Got a bit of a spoiler in the way. And one thing I want to talk about is where NASCAR has been lowering the downforce with the NASCAR Cup Series and NASCAR Xfinity Series in recent years. These trucks still have quite a bit of downforce. And so the splitters and spoilers both are really large and create a lot of downforce, keep these trucks kind of sucked down to the track. And yeah, so there's a big old yellow spoiler on the back of that number 1. Personally, I might like to see some smaller splitters and spoilers in the future, maybe less downforce, see these guys drive these things. But this week over in ASSR, these guys are really having to wheel them out of the corners. And we'll take a break from the top 3 for a moment, take a look back at the number 34 of Michael Sunick. He's currently being pursued by the number 5. That's Jimmy McKee, one of our in-race reporters. Behind him, looks like we're going to have the number 33 of Doug McCollum. He's in the championship battle. He's looking to have a good night here. He's currently running about 6th. So it looks like he's not doing too bad overall. Looks like number 18, that's Joe Hudson, in 7th, following Doug McCollum. After that's number 3, Scott Brotherton. Followed by the number 26 of Jeremy Rittenberg in the Oliver Mobile Fleet Repair Toyota Tundra. As we'll take a wide shot look at this battle going on here for, looks like about 7th, 6th maybe. As Michael Sunick has since been passed by both the 33 and the number 5. He's now under fire from the 18, that's Joe Hudson, followed by Scott Brotherton and the number 3. Now 4 seconds behind the number 26 is the 09 of Randy Roberts. You saw Louis Robinette in between them, but Louis Robinette is a lap down. He's actually 5 laps down after some damages. Randy Roberts will round out your top 10, but back behind him is going to be Matthew Cox in the number 04. Then Mike Montesi as caution falls in the speedway. And it's Jeremy Bazemore. Looks like he might have gone for a spin, might have got a little bit loose out of turn 2. Go ahead and take a look back from the onboard camera. Chris Jennings and Jeremy Bazemore are going to come up on lap traffic soon, and looks like maybe Jeremy was trying to clear the 88 before they got there. Got down on the apron a little bit, got loose out of turn 2. Ended up looping it down onto the apron through the grass. Very smart thing to do rather than trying to save it and risk coming back up into the wall and really ruining his and others' trucks. So a nice move there to just loop it around, and we'll see if we can't catch up with one of our in-race reporters currently out of the race, but if he's still around, we'll go ahead and get a talk with him. Well, we were going to try and get a talk with David Cook in the number 49, but being that he's out of the race with some severe damages, he has left the speedway. Rather understandable. We'll go ahead and take a look at the pit stops as they come into their pit stalls here. Chris Jennings fires off first, followed by Jeremy Bazemore and Blake O'Connell in third. Looks like Jimmy McKee will take P4. And we're going to take a quick commercial break. There is only me in the booth tonight, so I'm going to be taking a couple of breaks here. Probably if we get another green flag run, we'll take a break there. So if we go to a commercial mid-green run, don't click away. We'll be right back if we do go ahead and take a break, as we will now. And we'll be back in just a minute for the restart. Chris Jennings will be leading us to the restart this time. Jeremy Bazemore to his outside, then Blake O'Connell and Jimmy McKee to his outside in P number 4. On this restart, though, we're going to go right on board with the number 67 of Blake O'Connell in the TN Designs Chevy Silverado. TN Designs on Facebook will take care of all your paint scheme or iRacing graphic needs. We do a lot more than just that, though. Everything starts at just $5, and you can get bulk discounts. And as we go into the holidays, might even get some Christmas discounts. Here, though, with the restart, Chris Jennings in control, and he's off and away.
Green flag.
You see one truck coming out of the pits there ahead of the leaders. We'll see if he can manage to stay ahead. It might be looking like he's going to go ahead and yield to the leaders, actually, and just go one lap down. We'll see as that progresses. Blake O'Connell still riding in third in pursuit of the number 1 and the number 88. That's the number 43 of Fletcher down on the bottom. Leaders get by him with no problem. Nice move by Richard Fletcher in the number 43. Blake O'Connell still in pursuit of the 2 leaders. Coming out of turn 2, he's going to have a slight run on Jeremy Bazemore, but it's not enough, even with Bazemore getting the wall, as he's going to hopefully actually look to the inside of Bazemore out of turn 4. Bazemore overshot turns 3 and 4 like you wouldn't believe, and he's going to try and defend now from Jimmy McKee. He will do so, gets right back in line. A nice job by him to manage his losses. He will now fall into 3rd position, only lost 1 spot, so that's overall kind of a win-win for him and Blake O'Connell. Getting loose again, that's Jeremy Bazemore. As the race goes on, he's definitely having trouble out of turn 2. Looks like maybe he's overdriving a little bit. Not totally sure, but you have to wonder if he's going to really lose it one of these times. We saw him bring out the previous caution, but still end up restarting 2nd. Hopefully he's able to hang on to it every time instead of possibly take out other drivers. as we continue to watch Jeremy Bazemore try and pursue the number 67 of Blake O'Connell in second and the number 88 of Chris Jennings in first, I want to go ahead and throw out to everyone watching that if you are into NASCAR and if you like to play fantasy sports games, kind of like fantasy football and maybe NFL.com or fantasy NASCAR and NASCAR.com, for example, you can head over to PSI Fantasy. It's a Facebook group. And if you apply today, you can get in for the last few races of this season and get ready for what should be a big season for 2018. It's a fantasy game based on all 3 national series in NASCAR. And hopefully, if maybe we can get some support over there, we can make it something where there's a bit of a paid prize at the end of the year for everyone involved, or at least maybe the better half. If that's something that interests you, again, that's PSI Fantasy on Facebook. It's a Facebook group. Otherwise, you can contact me, Andrew Cardinale, on Facebook, or just message the page PSI TV. Currently, though, we continue to watch this battle up front. That's the number 88, Chris Jennings, and the number 67 behind him, Blake O'Connell. Chris Jennings looking to maybe take a higher line through the corners and fight it back down and get a run out of the corner. Straighten turn 2 out a little bit, make it a little bit easier to get that run down the back. Blake O'Connell on full attack, though, trying to really take an aggressive line through the first part of the corner. Maybe he can gain that way, as we'll take a moment to look through the field. Once again, Chris Jennings on point, followed by Blake O'Connell. Behind him, Jeremy Bazemore continues to run in third. After that, it's Jimmy McKee in the number 5. He's battling with the number 3 of Scott Brotherton. Then we've got Louis Robinette. He's actually a few laps down, but he is in between these guys who are on the lead lap. Michael Sunick running in, it looks like, 6th. Then Jeremy Rittenberg in the number 26. He's followed up by Doug McCullum in the number 33. Following him up is Randy Roberts, then Mike Montesi. Actually, Mike Montesi, it looks like, is a lap down. Matthew Cox is also a lap down. Kurt Rittenberg is 9 laps down, but we come to him next behind the number 4. We'll jump back up to the front of the field, though, as we've got the battle ensuing for position number 1. Blake O'Connell still on the aggressive attack, but he hasn't really made any ground on that number 88 Exalted machine. Really, it looks like the only real exciting battle is back here with the number 3, the number 5, and the number 30. The number 30, Louis Robinette, is not in there for position, but it looks like Scott Brotherton will give him the spot for now. Anyways, maybe trying to come back at a turn 2. He'll relax his efforts, though. Jimmy McKee continues to run 4th, right ahead of Scott Brotherton and Michael Sunick. Looks like Louis Robinette, even though he's lapped, has some damage, maybe has better tires than these guys that he's running with. And he's looking to come back up through the field, maybe get a lap back the hard way, but that's going to be a tall task. We see David Dahlber in the number 23 come down pit road. He's not having the night that he wanted at all. And as we watch Blake O'Connell here, we'll go back over the standings coming into tonight's race. That's Chris Jennings, who's leading this race. He got the win at Chicago. He got the win at Darlington. That was his 7th win. Chicago, his 8th. This could be his 9th year at New Hampshire Motor Speedway, and it would only solidify his really position as the favorite for the championship. Behind him in second place, coming into tonight, just 2 points back, is Jeremy Bazemore. Jimmy North also in the championship battle. He's not having a very good night. He's already out of the race. Mike Perry, we saw him with just a little bit of damage from earlier incidents. Kurt Rittenberg, we've seen him with a tough night. David Dolliver, we were just talking about, coming down the pits. He's having a rough night, gotten some wrecks early, along with most of the field. Matthew Cox, kind of just running a quiet race back there, followed by Jeremy Rittenberg and Doug McCullum. Only 1 point apart, about 14 and 15 back. They came in 8th and 9th. Then Scott Brotherton and James McKee and Jeff Gilmore. So really, it's that back half that really needs a good run here tonight. We're seeing a lot of issues already for various drivers. So it'll be interesting to see if they can overcome those setbacks and see if they can't maintain or increase where they are in the standings. As we see leader Chris Jennings coming up on Mike Payton in the number 08. He's about to put him a lap down. Looks like he had to check up a little bit there for Payton. As now he'll go by down the straightaway with ease. Jeremy Bazemore not out of this battle yet. He's closing in on the leaders. As the number 67 of Blake O'Connell will also get by Mike Payton. They'll set their sights on the next truck ahead. Looks like that's the number 43 of Richard Fletcher. Meanwhile, as we mentioned, Jeremy Bazemore getting back in the battle. He's currently gaining lap by lap on the guys up ahead. We'll see that ticker show a bigger differential down the straightaways and in the corners, so you're going to have to compare each lap to the corner and the straightaway. But looks like he's trying to close back in, focus on the long run speed, and get back up to that 67 and 88. Right now, he's doing a great job of that as Richard Fletcher lets the field go by. Very nice move by him. So as I took a quick moment to check in the chat, looks like Jeff Gilmore and Ed Burrell were talking in the chat about the commercial we showed. That is for NMNTS. They race on Sundays, Mondays, and Tuesdays. That's the ARCA Series and the K&N cars, the Truck Series and the trucks just like these, and the Grand National Series in the Xfinity cars, or the B-Class cars as some call them. Currently we only have NMNTS ads made, but we are in production, or we have commercials for things like Pit Stop Insider TV, TN Designs, and especially this league in the works. So there's only NMNTS ads for now, but we are working on others, so we aren't just unfairly representing only them. But NMNTS has been a huge partner for both PSI and TN Designs in the past. That's why we have those 2 commercials already made. Also, they were made by Little Man 0215 on YouTube. You can check him out. Again, he's the one that made those. A great guy with videos. He also races actively in the iRacing community, so you might want to check him out. Maybe he'll have some iRacing videos in the future. We are collaborating with him for some commercial efforts. So you only see the NMNTS ads for now, but we are working on ads for like this league and other groups. So hopefully that answers your guys' questions in the chat. As we continue to watch Chris Jennings and Blake O'Connell leading on Jeremy Bazemore just work their way through traffic, We're down to just under 60 laps to go as the race ticks on. Blake O'Connell looking to maybe make a pass. He won't get to the inside of the 88 that time as he continues to run second. And now we'll take you to a camera that we haven't used yet, but it's the left front camera. We'll see if maybe we can get a look at the glowing brake rotor. If not, we'll just take a look at the suspension. Doesn't look like we'll see the brake rotor glow, but we will definitely work on getting a camera that will show that in the future, especially once we go to Martinsville. That'll be a really cool camera to have. But currently, this is the left front suspension on the number 67. We'll also kick up the driver reference here so you can see the speeds and the RPMs that he's turning. Unfortunately, we don't have the throttle or brake information for you. But you can see there he's getting up almost to 150, 160 miles an hour there into the corner, all the way down into the mid-80s. So it's a very serious track for brakes. It really wears on the brakes and the tires. As we take another look at the truck, we also have a few other cameras that we've used throughout the night. We'll go ahead and take a look through all the cameras so far, though. We've got, of course, the blimp cam that we actually haven't even touched yet tonight. Also have a chopper up in the skies for you. Along with that, we have the visor cam. Also have a camera out the back of the trucks. That's on the rear bumper. You can see back from the 88 to the 67. This is a very good view on, just how close they get going into the corners and coming out of the corners and such, and how far apart they get down the straightaways. Even no matter how close they get in the corners, the gap is always drawn out throughout the straightaways. We also have a gyro cam on board, along with the left front suspension, like we already exhibited. One on the left rear of the truck, right behind the B post. We've also got a camera on the nose. We'll switch to Jeremy Bazemore for that as he pursues these guys. Also have one on the right front, just in front of the windshield. Of course, we have our onboard camera as Blake O'Connell still tries to make a move on the number 88. We've also already seen this one that's out the back of the car, looking pretty much at the spoiler and at the trucks behind. And then, of course, we get to our TV cameras. Those being cameras like we'll see here. And of course, we've got the pit lane cameras that we used on some pit stops earlier. So we'll actually utilize the blimp cam for the first time tonight as we watch this battle ensue. We've got 50 laps to go this time by. Chris Jennings still out front by a little more than a tenth on Blake O'Connell. Jeremy Bazemore now in the battle. And these are really the only three that we've had anything to talk about most of the night, since we had some of those big wrecks earlier. Blake O'Connell making the pass finally on Chris Jennings. He's going to have the position down to 3 and 4, but isn't able to outbrake the 88. The 88 does that to him. Tries to come back on the outside. Looks like maybe Chris Jennings got the wall there just a lap or so ago. Now Blake O'Connell, with the lack of a run down the front straight, but he's going to try and outbrake the number 88 into the corner, maybe throw a slider on him. As it looks like we had a truck exiting the pits, but Chris Jennings tries to somehow cross over, isn't going to be able to do it. The gap is too big already. Now pencil in Blake O'Connell on point. Chris Jennings looking to make a move. Won't be able to do it in the 3 and 4 this time. Once again, Blake O'Connell in that number 67 TN Designs Chevrolet on point. And as it looks like most of the field is making their pit stops now, we've got Jeremy Bazemore in. And really it looks like we only have a handful of guys that haven't pitted yet. So we'll make sure to watch for pit stops going on here between these two leaders. We saw Jeremy Bazemore make the undercut. He's already in the pits. That's going to be an advantage for him. He's going to be running a lot faster lap times than these guys as we see the 88 now come into the pits. That's Chris Jennings pitting from second position. So this is going to be a disadvantage for Blake O'Connell, at least in the short run. We'll see how it impacts him on a long run here in just a few moments once he finally comes into the pits. Blake O'Connell now will visit the pit lane. So, if you aren't familiar with the term undercut here in racing, basically what it means is the number 1 came in before the number 67. He's going to have better tires. Now, these guys were at the end of a fuel run, at the end of a tire run. So they're going to be running on old tires that don't have much grip. They're going to be running slow lap times. So, what the 1 is now going to be able to do is go out there and run faster lap times for just a moment, make up time on the 88 and the 67, and since he was right behind them, he should cycle out to be our leader once everyone comes through the pits. So yeah, just running those faster lap times will be able to gain him some time. As we see the 88 go right by the 67, that's what we're talking about. I bet you we'll see the 1, yep, already going into turn 3. So that's the kind of advantage that you get with the undercut, or short pitting, as some call it. And yeah, it's a really good move by Jeremy Bazemore to try and go and win this race. As we continue to watch pit stops cycle through, currently, this is the battle up front for the lead, I do believe. Actually, it's not much of a battle at all. Looks like the 34 and 5 have already pitted. They're about to run into each other, trying to follow leader Jeremy Rittenberg, who has not pitted yet. He's out front trying to lead some laps. Maybe count on a caution coming out while he's out front. Doug McCullum has come through pit lane. There he goes, he's exiting. So Jeremy Rittenberg currently on point, but he's running a lot slower lap times than everyone else who was around him. Jeremy Bazemore up into second. Now put Chris Jennings in third. They're only about 10, it looks like 11, 15 seconds behind the number 26 as he will come into the pits this time. Jeremy Rittenberg visiting pit lane. Yeah, since I saw Nick Tipton in the chat there, I am the main broadcaster over here for All-Star Sim Racing now on their Thursday night Manifold Truck Series. Thankfully, these guys hired on PSI TV, which was a brand new page at the time. Now we've got a few races under our belt, so we can hopefully get some more broadcasting deals in the future. But these guys were kind enough to bring us on full-time for the rest of the season. It's going to end up being, I believe, about 12 or so races. Once it's all said and done, we're going to be broadcasting the remainder of their chase. Currently, this is race 2 of said championship battle. Excuse me. We have Jeremy Bazemore out in front with about 5 seconds on Chris Jennings, but his tires are going away as we speak. Chris Jennings, I think, will be able to really make a lot of time up on him. And if you see my name, now that's because I have to come in and join the iRacing session, but since I didn't turn a lap, it'll show me however many laps down. But like I said, I am the broadcaster over here, so just to answer that question, Nick, I didn't wreck. I'm not just spectating, I am broadcasting for these guys, and like I said, I thank these guys every day that they brought us on board. It's been a lot of fun so far. Unfortunately, I'm the only one up in the booth tonight. Normally we have Michael Redding or Zach Lindgren or even Matt Skipper or Jake Little up here with me. But tonight it's just me. And as they come into turn 1, Jeremy Bazemore still on point by about 4 seconds. That time at the line over Chris Jennings. Blake O'Connell also trying to pursue these guys, try and make up some time. Not sure he'll be able to do it though. Joe Hudson's in 4th. He's 22 seconds back, followed by Scott Brotherton and Michael Sunick. That's your top 5. We're going to go ahead and take a quick commercial break. Yeah, we'll let you listen to hopefully the sounds of the engines as they keep going behind the commercial. We'll see if you can hear
All right,
those.
man.
Actually, caution's
Caution is out.
So we'll take a look at that. And that's a big one. Michael Sunick turned around and in the wall down the back straightaway. There goes Jeremy Bazemore to put him a lap down. So first we'll go ahead and take a look at what happened here, and then we'll take that commercial break. And that time it looked like maybe the 18 was a little slow exiting turn 2. 34 had nowhere to go as he had the run on Joe Hudson. And just got into him. He turned to right around. It wasn't anything big in any kind of terms. So just a quick loop for the 34 and he'll get back going. As we will head to a quick commercial break. We'll be right back for the restart. And as we bring you back to the New Hampshire Motor Speedway in Loudon, New Hampshire, Chris R. Jennings was able to beat the number 1 of Jeremy Bazemore out of the pits. Looks like maybe Jeremy Bazemore held in the pits a little bit longer to get some damages fixed, or maybe he was one of the only ones to come in. Like I said, we were taking a break, so we're not totally clear on that, but either way, Chris Jennings now on point as your leader. We'll see the rest of the field come in behind him. We'll take this chance to catch up, hopefully, with Jimmy McKee. We'll bring him aside. Jimmy McKee, this is Andrew up in the booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir. Yes, can you hear me?
So it looks like for some reason we're having just a small audio issue. Jimmy, I'll keep you with us as I try and diagnose this.
Okay.
All right, Jimmy McKee, you got a copy?
Yes, sir.
All right, we're working good now. It was coming over the broadcast, not for me though. We see you getting ready to looks like take 1 to green. You're going to be restarting 4th place. Have you been able to remedy that problem with the damage, and do you think you're in contention for possibly a win here as we come to 33 to go?
A win? Probably not. Chris is pretty quick. I don't think I have anything for him, so I think a top 5 will be a win for us right now, the way this is going. So can't complain at the moment.
All right, well, for sure. I've had those nights too as I've raced on iRacing. Sometimes just finishing close to a win is a win enough. So we'll let you get ready for the restart here. Looks like you're coming to the restart this time. We'll actually go on board with you, so no pressure, but we'll go on board with you as we let you get back to your duties. Hopefully you come out on top here. If not, though, best of luck to you, and I'll let you get back up there.
Appreciate it, guys. Thank you.
All right, so as I said there, we're going to go on board in the number 5 Dollar General Toyota Tundra. He's got the look from 4th position on the number 1, the number 88, and number 67. Chris Jennings launches for the restart. Scott Rutherford gets by the number 5, but maybe he has a missed shift there on the bottom. He's going to end up relinquishing that position back to Jimmy McKee as we go on to turns 1 and 2, but he's trying to look on the bottom. Contact almost made at turn 2, but they'll keep going, no problem. Jeremy Rittenberg also in this battle. As we saw there, Jeremy Bazemore took the lead from Chris Jennings. Now Blake O'Connell trying to get by the 88. The 88 stayed out under that caution, and Blake O'Connell trying to make something happen underneath and maybe get second place here. Blake O'Connell still trying to get by that 88. He may have the spot this time. Looks like he's trying to pull a move here. He will clear him out of turn 2, but will he try the crossover? Chris Jennings doesn't have the run. We'll see if he noses out into 3. He does not. He follows right in behind the number 67. Now Blake O'Connell gets to go and try and chase down the leader. That's Jeremy Bazemore currently on top. Jimmy McKee, we were just talking to him. We'll see if he can get up there and challenge the 88 for P3. As we'll take a quick look back in the field here. As we just mentioned, the number 5 running 4th, then Scott Brotherton in the number 3, Doug McCullum in the 33, Jeremy Rittenberg in the 26, and Louis Robinette 3 laps down in the number 30. Jimmy North has also ran through the track. He's currently 58 laps down, though. So as we go back up to the front, it's Jeremy Bazemore in control of this race, trying to extend that lead with just 27 laps to go. This could be a big turning point in the championship for him if he can manage to get this win by hanging on to the lead over Blake O'Connell, Chris Jennings, and Jimmy McKee. We see Scott Brotherton trying to maybe make a move on the number 5. Down into turn 3, he'll stay in behind Jimmy McKee in the number 5 Dollar General Toyota Tundra. But Doug McCollum right in that battle. And as these guys battle it out with just 25 laps to go, we're going to go and try something different. We're going to crank it up. We're going to let you listen to the loud sounds of these trucks around New Hampshire. And we will be right back. right, well, hopefully that got you at least a little bit excited, man. That was really something to just listen to the motors go around this 1.06 mile track here in Loudon, New Hampshire, and some of those awesome camera angles. As we're watching the battle here with Jimmy McKee, Scott Brotherton, and Doug McCullum just continuing to evolve as the laps wind down. We're now under 20 to go. The battle up front, not really much of a battle. That's Jeremy Bazemore out front by almost 2 seconds. Chris Jennings another few seconds behind Blake O'Connell. And this is 4th place here with Jimmy McKee in the number 5. Behind him, that's, like we mentioned, Scott Brotherton in the number 3, and Doug McCullum in the 33. And I mean, this is all chase drivers right here. This is probably one of the most important battles on the track as we speak. You know, it's sure there's the winner up there. Somewhere in the top 3, more than likely, between Jeremy Bazemore, Blake O'Connell, and Chris Jennings. That'll be the battle for the win eventually as laps wind down. But currently, it's just these guys here that's really battling for something important as we see Doug McCullum really get into the wall there. He did the gentleman-like thing and just kept it in the wall instead of pulling the truck back off the wall right in front of traffic, but that is going to cost him a lot of positions. As now Jimmy North also trying to get on the action. Louis Robinette currently going underneath the 26. It's not for position, but you know he has every right in the world to keep fighting, if for nothing else, just to better his skills in a pack. We'll go back on board here with the number 3. You know, these guys aren't really too far off the number 88 of Chris Jennings. Looks like those tires are really starting to hurt him as the run goes on. And once again, you know, these guys just battling here. This is important for the chase. We see David Dolliver just ahead of him, or just ahead of them. He's also in the chase, but he's having a really rough night tonight. Got caught up in accidents early. And let's see, he is currently 22 laps behind. So definitely not a night he needed or wanted at all. But for these guys up front, you know, they're battling for 4th and 5th here. This is going to be big for them, even if they don't go up there and get the win. As we come to, looks like we'll be coming to 12 to go next time by. Jeremy Bazemore out front by almost 3 seconds now. He's really just setting sail on the field. Checking out, he's got the number 43 up ahead of him, and that's Richard Fletcher. He's been no problem for these guys all night as they've gone around and lapped him. He's 4 laps down, about to be 5 laps down as he lets the leader go. Now 12 laps to go for Jeremy Bazemore until he gets himself into the next part of the chase here. Really commanding win by him in this final run. Came in, got the tires, and just worked his way back up to the front. Now he's taking off from the field by, like we said, about 3 seconds over second place Blake O'Connell. We'll see just how small that dot of the number 1 is getting in his windshield. You see it's the second truck ahead of him. That first truck is Richard Fletcher. He's laps down. The second truck ahead of him, that is Jeremy Bazemore, our leader. So it's really a big gap, no matter how you look at it. And so even with the early woes here in this All-Star Sim Racing New England 130, this race here at New Hampshire Motor Speedway, brought to you by PSI TV, has really become an exhibition of long-run speed, as these guys have gone probably about 60 laps almost in one run. It's really exciting to see how these guys are coping with the long runs and the lack of grip in the tires. It looks like maybe Chris Jennings is going to be falling victim to the number 5 here soon. About 3-4 seconds is all he's got to rely on now. You see, it's still a pretty big gap back to that yellow number 5. But if he continues to slip up, it could be entirely possible that he falls victim to losing another position. And for his sake, though, I hope that he's talking to me up in the booth so you guys can listen to his story of this race. If he gets third, we will bring him on up. Currently, though, with just 8 laps to go, Jeremy Bazemore still on point with a commanding lead, now nearing closer to 4 seconds almost at some points down the straightaways when he actually can stretch the legs of the truck out. Blake O'Connell trying to just hang on in case Bazemore maybe makes a mistake, or if there's a caution, he can make a move there. But he saw it stretch out to 3.5 seconds down the straightaway before Jeremy Bazemore had to slow down for the corner. And that's when the gap got smaller, but now he'll power back out of the corner. We'll see how big that gap gets this time on the relative that everyone has on their screen. About 3.3 seconds. So, again, a very commanding lead by this number 1. We'll go ahead and go on board with the visor camera. We come to 5 laps to go. Sorry, 6 laps to go. Once again, these guys are downshifting, which I find interesting. You know, I've run some practice here throughout the week, and I haven't been able to downshift yet without losing the back end of the truck, but these guys are able to do it, maybe just with the amount of rubber that's been laid down. So that's an interesting element. That might be why they're using a good bit of fuel. Looks like, I mean, these guys pitted a little bit earlier than maybe we expected, but as Jeremy Bazemore fires up out of the corner, goes from 3rd into 4th gear. He's driving it kind of like Pocono. Basically, if you watch the Pocono NASCAR Cup races, these guys downshift going into the corners, down into 3rd gear to get the revs higher and get a better pull up out of the corner. And then they upshift down the straightaways to get back into 4th gear. We saw a couple of issues with Dale Earnhardt Jr. and Kevin Harvick. They were going from 4th, I believe, down into 3rd gear, and they accidentally went into 2nd. Or it was from 3rd up into 4th, and they went into 2nd. It was one of the two. And they both had motor problems after that, but Kevin Harvick was able to pretty much hang on, even with the damage to the motor. It really hurts the motor when you rev it up that high, but we're coming to 3.5 laps to go now. Jeremy Bazemore still out front by, again, a commanding lead. Then Blake O'Connell currently running 2nd still. Chris Jennings behind him. He's falling victim to the 43 and the 30. Those are not for position, though. I'll throw that out there. Then Jeremy Rittenberg. Oh, and we switched to Scott Brotherton at the perfect timing.
All right, man, caution is out.
That's a big wreck, and that's going to be the race-ending caution, but that is a big wreck right there. As I was going to say, though, Jeremy Rittenberg had just moved into 4th, up ahead of James McKee. And looks like maybe now Doug McCullum will take 6th position, as we saw a huge wreck for Scott Brotherton. He may be, he's parking it. He's going to get the tow. We'll go ahead and look back at that. That was a big, vicious wreck. You see Doug McCullum just got by the number 3, or at least trying to make the pass. The number 3, Scott Brotherton, gets loose, tries to correct it, overcorrects back up in front of the 84. The 84, for the second time, is smoking as he tries to get back into the pits. He was already 50-some laps down. At the time of caution, it looks like he was maybe 57, 58 laps down. We'll go on board this time with the number 84 of Jimmy North. See what happened from his view. It was crazy. I mean, he was looking at the underside of a number 3 all of a sudden. Just like Jeremy Bazemore earlier in the race, just gets loose out of the corner. This time, though, Scott Brotherton trying to save his race, overcorrects, ends up ruining it further. But you can't blame him for trying. I mean, a racer races, so unfortunate to see him go for a ride. We'll maybe try and catch up with him after the race. For now, though, back up to the front, Jeremy Bazemore will be your winner here in New Hampshire. as he will take home the New England 130, followed by Blake O'Connell, finally closing out one of those races just to get a good finish. I'm sure that's going to feel like a bit of a win. Come up second place tonight. Actually, hang on. Okay. It looked like maybe for a second Jeremy Bazemore was actually going to go down the pit road and give up his win. I mean, that would have been a Mark Martin move there. No disrespect to one of the greatest drivers of all time, Mark Martin, but that would have been interesting, to say the least. But Jeremy Bazemore will take home the win tonight. All he has to do is make it back around. As you see the 34 getting a lucky dog, even though the race is basically over. Second place, as we mentioned, that's Blake O'Connell in the number 67. Then it'll go to the number 88 of Chris Jennings in third. Following him, as we mentioned, Jeremy Rittenberg in the number 26. Jimmy McKee in the number 5. Doug McCullum in the number 33 will come home 6th place. After Doug McCullum, it looks like that's going to be Randy Roberts in the number 09. Followed by Mike Perry in the number 10, Matthew Cox in the 04, Michael Sunick in the 34, Mike Montesi in the 12 will be 11th. Looks like maybe Scott Brotherton will end up 12th. But on the night, Jeremy Bazemore will take home the win in, once again, a commanding lead. This will really help solidify the number 1 and number 88, probably as the 2 championship favorites. Oh, not sure about that one. Not totally sure about that one. Saw some interesting activities there, but we'll go ahead and let Jeremy Bazemore do his celebration here as we maybe try and drag some of these guys up into the broadcast booth. First off, we're going to go ahead and try and catch up with Scott Brotherton in the number 3. Scott Brotherton, we saw you go for a ride there. Mic is open there right now. There we go. Scott, we saw you go for a huge ride there in that final caution. What can you tell us about what went on there out of turn 2?
Yeah, I basically just ran out of talent. We've been racing there really hard with James McKee and with Doug McCollum there, and it was a lot of fun. We were just digging hard, and coming off a 2 there, it just got out from under me, and I tried to save it, and just couldn't do it.
Yeah, we watched you get loose there, try and correct it, and then we were correcting it into the 84. Nonetheless, though, you're running really strong, so congratulations there on that big run for you. Hopefully you can back that up next week, even if the result this week wasn't any good for you. But we'll go ahead and see what you do next week. I believe we'll be at Dover. So, once again, congratulations on the run, even if it didn't close out for you. Overall, though, good luck to you in the future as you continue to pursue a chase position in the rest of the chase. I believe we'll have an elimination here soon. So, good luck to you and your number 3 team.
Thanks, man. Yeah, New Hampshire's a tough racetrack, and once we got set on a long run there for a while, it was a lot of fun. It's kind of like just a really large skating rink, but Dover will be good. There'll be a lot of action there, I'm sure. So, thanks again for the broadcast, guys.
No problem. And before we go, is there anyone you want to thank?
Yeah, I always want to thank Rims One and the Burley Boar and my teammates at Hashtag Motorsports, and congrats to my teammate Bazemore on the win. I think Jennings probably finished 3rd, somewhere around there. So it was a good night for our team. I just came up a little short.
All right, well, we'll let you go catch up with your team. Once again, congrats all around. Even if it wasn't what you wanted, you were running pretty strong. And yeah, we'll let you go continue to debrief with the team there. Now we'll go ahead and bring up third place finisher Chris R. Jennings. Chris R. Jennings, you got a copy?
Yeah, I got you.
All right, well, you certainly had command of the early part of this race, the early stages. You were certainly the guy to beat, just like we've seen pretty much all 4 races we've done with this league now. But you ended up coming up short. What caused, or what brought you, I should say, to the decision to stay out? Were you expecting more cautions?
Yeah, I actually was. And I didn't think the tire fall off was that bad. Noticing the other guys that didn't take tires on that last caution, they were still holding pretty good. So I figured, what the heck, I already locked in. I'd give it a shot, but sure didn't work out.
Well, nonetheless, I mean, you had a really commanding run. Real quick, because we're going back over the replay to watch the number 1 continue to celebrate his win again. What happened there as you made some contact with Jeremy Bazemore?
I was just messing around with him. He did that to me a while back ago, so he's a teammate and good friend. So figured I'd rub him a little bit there on the win.
Yeah, I saw you guys were in the same team channel. Just wanted to make sure, just in case for anyone watching that maybe saw that and was a bit curious about that one. Anyways, congratulations on your third place finish tonight. Is there anyone you want to thank out there?
I want to thank the Rittenberg brothers and Scott Brotherton for putting on such a good league, and it's a lot of fun. Thanks for all their hard work.
All right, well, thank you for continuing to put on a show for us every week. We'll let you go and celebrate with Jeremy Bazemore on the win, and we're going to drag up Blake O'Connell. Blake, you ran that number 67 pretty good tonight. Ended up P2. What can you tell us about the track and the truck?
Well, it was a real fun race. It was real cool running up there with Baze and Chris all night. I don't normally like a track like this being flat as it is. It's real awkward, basically crawling through the corners, but had a lot of speed. Top 3 car for sure. Didn't think I'd make P2, honestly. I thought Chris had a better car, but of course he didn't take tires on the last pit stop, so I was able to get ahead of him. But overall, it was a fun race. Real happy about P2 tonight.
Yeah, for sure. We saw you really just do your best to stay up there. We saw you get some laps led even, and pretty much do what you've been doing, really just lingering there about 3rd, 4th place most of these races, and at least put yourself in a position where if something goes wrong for whoever's ahead of you, you can at least try and take advantage of that, and if not, just gain on them, maybe get the win. Before we let you go and debrief with your team, is there anyone you want to thank?
Yeah, I just want to say thank you to the sponsors, Team Designs, Diamond Gusset Jeans, WD-40, PSI TV, yourself for putting this on. I'm sure your voice is probably shot after solo casting tonight. I want to thank my teammates, Matt, Cody, and Jeff. Matt and Cody had pretty unfortunate nights, which is too bad. Jeff wasn't here, but he's looking to win next week. Excited for that. And also want to thank Scott, Kurt, and Jeremy for everything they do for ASSR.
All right, well, you're right on the voice being shot. It's definitely starting to catch up with me after 130 laps here at New Hampshire. Luckily, though, I was able to find a couple of breaks and get some water. But congratulations on running second, man. Very good job. And we will let you get back down there with your team.
All right. Thank you, Andrew.
All right, and now, real quick, we're going to bring up Jeremy Bazemore. He won the race tonight. Jeremy Bazemore, you got a copy?
Yeah, man, go ahead.
Well, Jeremy, I mean, it was just a commanding final run from you. We really saw you put on a show there and just take off from the field of Blake O'Connell, Chris Jennings, and everyone else. How was the truck feeling on that final run? Looked like maybe the track rubbered up enough for you to be a little bit tighter, and we saw you downshifting. I wasn't able to do that in my own practice. It got a little too squirrely, so was it just the rubber that enabled you guys to downshift tonight, or, you know, what allowed for that?
I've pretty much been doing it the whole time. Takes some getting used to, but it seems to be the fast way around. I tried running without shifting and kept losing time to the leaders. And mid race, I just followed them for a while and tried downshifting and run them back down. So I knew it was going to work. It was just a matter of getting in front of them or getting back to them.
All right, well, congratulations on your win, man. You know, it's going to be real big for you in the chase. What's your plan now that you have that win in the bank and you can maybe run a little bit harder, take some more risks? Like, just what's your plan going into Dover?
I'm actually going to try to take it kind of easy. I don't want to cause any problems and knock anybody else out. Just having a good run. I think I'm gonna miss a chase race coming up, so if I make the next round, I'll have to do it in 3 races.
All right, for sure. Well, congratulations on your win tonight, man. Real quick, is there anyone you want to thank?
I think thanks to the guys at ASSR for putting it on, and thank you guys for doing the broadcast, and my team giving me some advice during the race seemed to help me out.
For sure. Well, again, congratulations on the win. It's going to be a big one for you in that Haas Chevrolet Silverado. We'll let you go and celebrate with your team. And, yeah, hope to see you next week putting on another show and maybe talk to you some more.
Thanks, bud. You have a good one.
Once again, that was Jeremy Bazemore, race winner tonight in that number 1 Haas Chevrolet. We're going to go ahead and go early tonight. We will catch you guys hopefully Saturday, possibly with the final race of the TN Designs Big 4 Street Stock Series in the NMNTS Dirt League. And hopefully we see you all there. It should be a lot of fun. If not, though, we'll be back here with more ASSR action in the Manifold Truck Series. We'll be back at Dover. That should be a lot of fun. Once more, kind of a nowhere to go racetrack. It's also a mile, just like the Magic Mile here in Loudon, New Hampshire, the New Hampshire Motor Speedway. So we'll be back at Dover Downs next week on Thursday night at about 9 p.m. Eastern. Make sure you tune in to PSI TV. For now, though, thank you for tuning in. And if you're seeing this on YouTube, you can always catch the races just a couple of days after they are live streamed. And hopefully you subscribe to our YouTube channel. Make sure you turn on notifications on both the YouTube page and the Facebook page. Make sure you like the Facebook page if you haven't already. You can find both the channel and the page at PSI TV, both on Facebook and YouTube. So, hopefully everyone has a good night. We'll let you guys go, and thank you for tuning in.